Good morning, YCCM families. My name is Garrett Lath. I'm the Artistic Director of the Youth Chorale of Central Minnesota. And for those of you that were able to make the meeting last night, we were glad to see you, both new and returning singers. And if you weren't able to be there, I wanted to just take a chance to introduce YCCM and talk about some of the things that we discussed at the meeting. So welcome to YCCM and welcome back if you're a returning singer. So typically we have a meeting in August. With all parents and it's during our rehearsal camp, so singers are rehearsing all day and parents have a meeting and are introduced to the staff. But this year, for two reasons, we decided that we needed to have this meeting in June, or we wanted to. One was to give that introduction before forms are due, before deadlines, before all of that, so you kind of can put a name and a face to the staff in YCCM and hear what we're all about. I'm not going to go over all of that. I hope to keep this video 5 minutes or so, but it was that introduction and thus this video. Some things I want you to hear from a person rather than just an email, what YCCM is up to. And so that was great to meet a lot of families last night and see returning families come to the meeting. The second reason is that we do have a new opportunity this year. We in YCCM we have traveled over the past several years. We've done 2 tours, and we're moving to every other year touring, traveling opportunity. As the board and staff were discussing what that looks like, typically this is what tours were before this year. Tours happened after schools out of session for all schools, excuse me, and everyone was required to go unless you had a schedule conflict. And as will always be the case with a nonprofit, families had a tour assessment that was needed in order to make the tour happen, which is always a little more reasonable than going yourself because we buy everything, mass ticket prices, that sort of thing. But those are the 3 components. After school's out of session, everyone is required to go, and the additional cost. All of those things have their drawbacks and benefits. We have seen feedback from our alumni that that traveling is really important. It's something that benefits singers greatly, and they remember that years out. The years that we've traveled, we've gotten feedback that is one of the takeaways, one of the things that is of great value to singers. So we wanted to offer that opportunity, but we're going to do it in a different way this year. So while we're in this process discussing what tour looks like, we received an invitation. Those of you last year that were involved know that we sang Jubilate Deo, a work by Dan Forrest. We sang it with orchestra at the Paramount, and it was a highlight of the season for me. That was the most exhilarating part of the season, and it was for many singers and our audiences too. We got an invitation. Distinguished Concerts International heard about YCCM and gave us an invitation to come to New York City and sing that work with a few other choirs at Lincoln Center in New York City. If you know what Lincoln Center is, it's home of the Juilliard School, New York City Ballet, Metropolitan Opera, New York Philharmonic. It's a pretty cool place. So one of the major venues of New York City, next to Carnegie Hall and of course Broadway. So what that looks like for us. It is not required. It is during the school year. So those 2 components have changed. It's not after school, it's during school. It's March 20th to 24th. Where it was required before, it is not required. And the cost is still there. In fact, because it's New York, the furthest we've ever gone, and because it's during the school year and we need to fly to get there in order to save on time out of school, we will be flying. So you can see the cost and some of the payment information and the deadlines and that sort of thing, but wanted to just go over those things and have you hear it from us that there is no bearing whether you go or don't go. So you can read all of that information. That's more of the logistics, and I don't want to waste your time on video to talk about that. But did want to talk about one other aspect. Our hope is if we go out, everybody that attends will be singing. Everybody that participates in this tour will be singing Jubilate Deo on stage with other choirs at David Geffen Hall in the Lincoln Center. But if we're going out, if we're going out into the world, it's nice to have a performance of our own. And so we are looking at that opportunity, and we are looking at chamber singers as that opportunity. Chamber singers is an extra group that you checked or didn't check for your audition to be, considered for chamber singers. We are hoping that chamber singers has a quotient, hopefully all, hopefully most, that are willing to go on tour and have a performance. Now that means if you're not in chamber singers, you still come and you still perform the work, and hopefully there will be one or two pieces that everybody can sing at this other performance during our trip that you can join in on. But 2 or 3 songs doesn't make a concert tour. So Chambers would serve as that anchor group, and everybody would join in 1 or 2 songs later. That is not at Lincoln Center. That will be some auxiliary performance at a college or a high school or some sort of exchange or clinic. But that's the moving pieces part. That's that part we don't know. But just know that we're hoping that the chamber singers will perform on this tour, and everyone will perform in some capacity outside of Lincoln Center. And then the major point is Lincoln Center. I believe that's all of the information that I need to exchange with you. The rest you can see in writing. I don't want to waste your time, and I'm already at 6 minutes and 10 seconds. So do take a look at this material. There's one important aspect, and this is the tricky part. We don't need a commitment until July 15th, whether you're going or not going. So you have a little time for that, and there will be a deposit due sometime in July after the 15th, obviously. So that part, don't think that you have to make any decisions now. But we do want to know where you're at. We need to start planning. We need to start moving with these, with a tour company and with the organization that's running the concert, and we need to give them an idea of where our numbers are. So this is the call to action. We would like you to discuss as a family where you're at with this, if this is something you're looking that this is more than likely going to happen, or it's just not feasible. And we understand that, and that's why we're not requiring it. That's why we're doing it this way, is that we realize that there's a time constraint, it's missing some school, and that there's a financial constraint that's not possible for all families. And so we'd ask that you have a discussion with your family, figure out where you're at, and then respond to the survey in the materials in your email with a definitely going. It doesn't have to be super definitely, but definitely going, probably not going, or definitely not going. And that is not a commitment. That you have committed nothing financially with that. That's just telling us what kind of numbers we're looking at for the group. So if you say definitely going and something happens and you know that you can't go by July 15th, there's absolutely nothing. There's no bearing at all. Same thing if you're thinking probably not and you decide, oh, no, we've figured out a way to make it happen. That's fine too. We just want to have rough numbers so we can tell the companies this is what we're looking at, so we get an accurate budget. Once July 15th hits, we'll have another opportunity for you to make that final commitment on whether you can make it happen for your family or not. So I've talked enough, 8 minutes. Thank you for your patience. Do let us know if you have any questions. Again, email is great, documents are great, but face-to-face conversations, phone calls, that's really where relationship building happens. And we want to be that group. We want to be a staff that really serves families well and makes this opportunity available. And if you have any questions, do let us know. Sarah, our executive director, she will field a lot of the financial and logistics questions. I can certainly answer questions as well, as can anyone. By the way, I'm Garrett Lath. I'm the artistic director. I probably should have said that at first. But we have a wonderful staff. Holly, our Conbrio director, and Cynthia, our office assistant. All of us are here to help give your child an experience in great choral music in central Minnesota. So do give us a call or an email, and we look forward to an incredible season with YCCM and you. Thank you.